So it's like these new kids there's some that are so far advanced than the average good forward facing guy. And that's what's crazy, Gary, is you got these guys that are doing it and they're good at it. And they're looking up to the guys on television going, I can't even compete with that. That's a level beyond. Kind of like what you and I back in your pitch and flipping days, you knew the pattern within the pattern. Swim
Yeah.
baits, sight fishing, I knew the pattern within the pattern. I could beat those guys in the same, even if the bite was a flipping bite or a deep water bite, you knew so much more. And that's I see that now with forward facing sonar where there's guys that are beasts at it.
Yeah, they're really good at it, but there's a lot of subtleties at forward-facing fishing. It's just not see something on the screen and make a, throw to it. What I like about it is that it's a visual. First, the angler has to identify whether it's a catfish or a carp or a bass or whatever species. So it makes you study to understand. And then because you can see the movement or how a fish is relating, it's almost like bed fishing 101, dude, because now I get to play with the fish while it's swimming,
Mm-hmm.
or while I can see it in the water column, I get to make presentations and then I have to adjust based on what that fish is telling me. Exact same thing as sight fishing. What they like, what they don't like. And then all of a sudden you get triggered into rate of fall. Presentation's important from the face versus from the rear of the fish. Water clarity is real important. And it's not so much as important as whether you can catch fish or not catch fish. Water clarity to me tells me as an angler the distance that I can really get on these fish. Because some of the best, I don't know, people figure this one out, but some of the best forward facing that I've ever seen is in water that normally you and I wouldn't fish by. I mean, literally, you could track a coon across the top of it. It's
You
just,
you were you were telling me about this when we had the Hall of Fame. We had the induction for Rick Clunt at the Hall of Fame,
yeah,
and you were telling me about the fact you're fishing the dirtiest water you could ever imagine, and you're forward facing sonar fishing that. You're fishing those fish on your screen, and the water's the color of this desk right here, or that deeper.
or, I mean,
What's with that?
that's just the water body that those fish live. But what it allows me as an angler is to, get closer to those fish. I'm not having to make an 80-foot cast. I'm making a 30 or 40-foot cast, just because of their lack of visual. But if you go up north or any clear water body, I mean, you've got a wide range around that fish to get his attention in order to catch him. So that allows me to use, rate of fall is, obviously key, slower, faster, but it lets me cover water quick and look at the fish. And you don't catch everything you see. And a lot of the fish, like, the fishing I was doing yesterday, these fish were all in 23, 25, 28. And if you really, really focus on your forward facing, you can see little scurries across the bottom. And that's just the top back. Anytime you have a fish that's set up on the bottom, most electronics won't show up unless he elevates a little bit or you have movement. And you have to understand too, on your forward imaging, it's just like shooting a precision rifle with a scope. I mean, your window is about that wide. So when I'm scanning,
Mhm.
I'm looking at a very small slice of the pie. It's very precise, but it's very small. So if you scan and you see 10 or 15, well, chances are that's a big school.
Right.
Kelly and I were in a school last week, Kelly Jordan, and he was in that school for 2 hours before he called my buddy and I, and he said, "You guys need to get over here." So we're catching them every cast. So we showed up. And we too were catching them I don't know how big school fish that was. Every cast, doubles, 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 doubles. And these fish were
What
all,
was this bass? Was this a bass
these were
lake? This was
all largemouth. They were on the bottom in 23, 25 feet of water. And you could see them kind of scurrying along the bottom, but you would see massive schools of shad and you'd see little groups of fish come in. Yeah, at the end of the day, our best five was 30 pounds, 7 ounces. And Kelly's
wow.
was greater than ours because we only had one. We had a 714 KJ had a
Real
711, a 713, you know, and all
Y'all
that.
were just fun fishing? This wasn't a tournament or
Yeah.
anything? This was just
Yeah,
having
fun
fun?
fishing a private lake.
Wow.
No, I was gonna say, that's always intriguing, though. I love the technology. The technology shows us what's in the water body.